Mystery Mogul. Mystery Mogul begins now. Jonah, what's our story about today?
Well, a story very close to home these days. A couple's new dream home becomes a nightmare after receiving some threatening letters.
Is this your own personal story?
No, but at the way that the rate things are going, it might as well be.
All right. A new couple's dream home becomes a nightmare. Okay, you ready to begin?
Yeah. Derek and Maria Brodus thought they bought their dream home at 657 Boulevard in Westfield, New Jersey, but that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. However, it was not the house itself that was problematic, but the frightening correspondence that came to it. Between June 2014 and February 2017, the Broaduses received 4 threatening letters that made their lives a living hell. The mysterious sender calls himself the Watcher. Before the couple even moved in, they received their first letter while working on renovations. 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades now. My grandfather watched it in the 1920s and my father watched it in the 1960s. It is now my time. Do you fill the house with young blood? Soon I will know your children's names. Who am I? Check your windows. Maybe I'm in one.
Was he an actor from the 1940s?
Yeah, because
it's filled with blood now, you see? Sorry.
Terrified, the Broaduses were on high alert, being paranoid of their neighbors until the next letter arrived. I asked the Woods family to bring me young blood, and here you are. Will the children play in the basement, or are they too afraid? I would be afraid too. Down there, no one can hear you scream. Who will sleep in which room? When you move in, I will know. Then I can plan better.
Goodness me.
The Broaduses were shocked by the mention of the Woods family, the previous owners who sold them the house. Too terrified to be watched, they postponed their move-in date and stopped bringing their children around the house. Several weeks later, a third letter. The house is turning on me. It is now my enemy. What spell did you cast on it? The house needs young blood. It needs you. Come back. Let the young blood sleep inside. The letter even mentioned the children by name, forcing the Broaduses to consider selling the house. Word about the letters got out and spread locally as a viral story. This attracted a wave of unwanted media attention. Reporters and spectators frequently stalked the house, hoping to see a glimpse of the mysterious Watcher. Eventually, it all became too much for them, and they rented out the house, but not before receiving one last letter. You wonder who the Watcher is? Turn around, idiots. Perhaps you have spoken to me, one of your so-called neighbors. Watch your backs, or who knows what could happen. Maybe a car accident, a fire, maybe a mysterious illness that never gets better, the death of a pet, or maybe the death of a loved one.
This is terrible.
Oh my God.
I know.
And this is not that long ago. June 2014 to February 2017.
Yeah.
And it's worse because it's not like you're getting these letters every few weeks.
Yeah.
It's really spread out. If it's almost like a 3-year span, but you're getting 4 letters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by the time you kind of forget about it,
Yeah.
maybe he's moved on, then something will
Snap.
come into the mail again.
Exactly.
You assume he.
Oh,
I assume
Maybe it's
that's
Jonah's
true.
voice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Interesting, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do in that case, Kate?
Yeah.
I mean, even after letter number 1,
Uh-huh.
do you stay? You know, the letter number 1, 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades now. My grandfather watched it in the 20s, my father in the 60s, and now it's my time. Do you fill the house with young blood? Soon I will know your children's names. Who am I? Check your windows. Maybe I'm one. Do you stay? What do you do after that?
If if I had children, I think I would have just left.
You think so?
Yeah, because it mentions my children. It mentions creepy
Yeah.
things like young blood. So even, it might not be right in the mind. And so I think I'd be fearful for my kids. If it's just me and a partner or some roommate or something, I think I'd be like, psh, this clown. And I'll just move in.
Yeah.
That part about who am I? Check your windows. Maybe I'm one. Maybe I'm in one. That
Check your window. Oh, it's that smiley face your fiance saw.
See, yeah, I would still move in, but just do a ceremony.
soju and gochujang.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it gets worse because the children's names are mentioned at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that means
They
they
know.
know who you are.
Mhm.
So how would they know the children's names? So if neighbors introduce themselves,
Exactly.
then maybe okay,
Mhm.
that would put the neighbors as suspects on my list.
Yeah.
Maybe someone from the school, from the local school, who might know the children's names. That would put them on my suspect list as well. But otherwise, how would you even know who the children are?
Unless he's always constantly like circling the house in unseen places.
Yeah.
And he hears a mom like, okay, Jane, Jack, come in and eat dinner, something like that. And they'll be like, oh,
Right? It
Yeah.
has to be
Yeah,
something
that's
like
true.
that.
That's true. If the names are used out loud outside, then maybe someone watching
yeah.
could have heard those names. That's terrifying. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll find out exactly what happened here. Is there a conclusion to this story?
Yes and no. A lot of speculation, but
That in itself is mysterious, Jonah.
very much.
Here's Clay. All right, so a family where did this happen? In New Jersey, right?
Yes, in Westfield, New Jersey.
Westfield, New Jersey, in the United States between 2014 June and 2017 February. Derek and Maria Broadus moved into a new home, their dream home.
Yeah.
And then they, over the years, got 4 letters in total?
Yeah, 4 letters in total. What we heard today was the abridged version, but there was a lot more details in the full letters that made them even more scared.
Oh, I see.
A lot of like, I see you going to your work at this time.
Oh.
Yeah, so
So the letters threatened that they were being watched and they were in serious danger. And the
Yes.
children's names were mentioned too. So what happened here?
after the 4th letter, the family didn't receive any more letters. But after the letter that mentioned their children, they reported it to the police, and an intense investigation without media attention began.
Yeah.
But they were unable to find any suspects.
Really?
Their first thoughts were their direct neighbors next door because, of course, who they would be the first suspects.
Sure. Yeah.
But after analyzing the fingerprints and DNA evidence on the letters, they confirmed that it wasn't their neighbors. So the way the Broadus family got this house
Yeah.
was because they won it in a bidding war.
Oh.
Okay.
Apparently
like
this-
an auction.
Yeah, an auction type situation. Apparently, this house was gorgeous, one of the most prized houses in the neighborhood. So when they won it in the auction, they speculate that one of the losing families
Okay.
may have been trying to terrorize them to get them to resell it.
That's motive,
Yes.
right? That's motive right there. Okay. So they looked at those people who were also in the bidding wars.
Yes. However, the interesting thing is that another family on the same street also received letters around the same time.
Oh.
However, that family didn't read them, didn't pay any attention, and just completely ignored it.
Oh, okay.
But their child posted about it on the Book of Faces.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they were like, oh, okay, these letters began at the same time, but it seems like the author decided to focus only on this family.
Okay, but that would have to be the same author, though.
It has to
It
be.
has to be, yeah.
In the end, the Broadus family doesn't really have a happy ending.
Oh.
They did try to give up on the house and move out, but because it caught wind in the media, this story went viral. People were stalking them outside their house trying to see
right.
the watcher.
Yeah, because their house then became like a tourist attraction.
Yeah, the value of their house plummeted.
Oh, no.
And they were unable to resell it. So in the end, they ended up just renting it out to another family. And
Did anyone investigate that family?
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh,
Imagine,
it's
yeah.
that family that wanted to move in that house.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe that family was in that bidding war, but they didn't have nearly enough money to successfully buy the house.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But they wrote the letters and forced the Broadduses into trying to sell, but the reputation of the home was so ruined,
Yeah.
nobody wanted to buy it.
Yeah.
So then the family was like, oh, well, I guess we'll move in. They're the ones who did it, Kate.
I'm not sure about the family that's renting, but my first thought as well is, okay, one of the bidding war families is doing this to try and
Yeah.
usurp the house.
Yeah. Because, but still, they knew who lived there before.
That's true.
Right?
They had to be around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's got to be someone in the neighborhood, kind of in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
they were undergoing renovations at the time, so maybe someone posing as a construction worker. But really, it's a mystery.
What would you do here? I asked Kate what she would do. What would you do, Jonah?
I think in the end, I would just ignore it until things physically start happening.
Oh.
If I find
Yeah.
evidence of like an actual physical intrusion into the house, then maybe I would not move. But if it's just letters, I would chalk it up to someone trying to steal my house.
I would stay
Yeah.
and get the world's greatest security system and start responding to the letters.
My
Oh.
first thought is this is 2014.
Yeah.
Didn't we have CCTVs around that time?
That's kind of true.
They should have.
Mm.
No
I would have
postage,
installed.
right?
Yeah. I
then
would have installed a security cam
Yeah.
right.
This would become like my new hobby,
Or you
like trying to figure out who this is.
Yeah.
become pen pals with the watcher.
Oh, I hadn't considered that.
Dear Mr. Watcher,
Yes.
thank you so much for your interest in my family.
In our new home, we're super excited and thank you for welcoming us. Yeah, right.
I'll leave a casserole out in front. Please eat it.
Still a mystery today, huh?
Yep, still a mystery today.
Interesting story, Jonah. Thanks for that one. To finish up the first hour today, James Blunt, you're beautiful.